Hey everyone, it's Mr. Duel here again with another Genshin Impact video. Today I'm going to be doing a review and build setup for my Diluc, which is currently level 80 at the moment. So let's get right into it. I'm going to talk about his talents, and his first talent is his normal attack, Tempered Sword. Normal attacks perform up to 4 consecutive strikes. In this example, I wanted to show the 4 consecutive basic attacks. It does stagger the smaller enemies each hit, and then with the fourth hit, it launches enemies back, the smaller enemies back. Next is his charge attack. Drain stamina over time to perform continuous slashes. At the end of the sequence, perform a more powerful slash. And here, I'm going to give you an example of the charge attack on the smaller enemies. As you can see, just continue swings, and then the good thing about the smaller enemies is they get completely staggered. So normally they don't attack you back. You can hit multiple enemies with this charge attack. And then here, I'll show you the charge attack also with the larger enemies. It's a lot more dangerous because it doesn't stagger the large enemies, so it really puts you at risk if you're not careful. But it still outputs a ton of damage. And his next talent we're going to talk about is his Searing Onslaught. Performs a forward slash that deals pyro damage. This skill can be used 3 times consecutively. Enters cooldown if not cast again within a short period. With this, I'm going to show you kind of how to use Searing Onslaught. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll get the minimum cooldown, which is like around 2.8 seconds. I'll show you an example of just spamming Searing Onslaught, and look at the cooldown. It's roughly around 7 to 8 seconds. So try to mix and match your consecutive normal attacks with the Searing Onslaught to get the maximum output. And then you also feel like you're getting a shorter cooldown, so it feels like you're using the ability more, but technically you're just comboing it. Another thing to mention with the Searing Onslaught, again, you could do it at any time during the combo that you want. You don't have to wait for the full 4 hits. Just feel free to do it anytime during the combo. It's just, if you want the shortest cooldown, doing the maximum amount of consecutive normal attacks, at the very end, we'll have it at the shortest cooldown compared to just like using it in between maybe 1 or 2 hits. And another thing I wanted to add about the Searing Onslaught, whenever a large enemy is not doing a specific combo, at times it can stagger them. It's kind of on and off. It's not 100%, but there's times where it does stagger them and sometimes where it doesn't stagger them. Next, we're going to get into his ultimate, which is Dawn. Releases intense flames to knock nearby enemies back, dealing pyro damage. The flames then converge into the weapon, summoning a phoenix that flies forward and deals massive pyro damage to all enemies in its path. The phoenix explodes upon reaching its destination, causing a large amount of AoE pyro damage. Also, the searing flames that run down his blade causes Diluc's normal and charge attacks to deal pyro damage for a time. And with this example, I'm going to be using Dawn on all the smaller enemies to kind of just show you the staggering effect, the AoE that it does to them, and the AoE explosion at the very end as well, which killed everybody in it really. And then of course it sets my sword on fire, which does the pyro damage. And we're going to get to his passive talents, which the first passive is Diluc's charge attack stamina cost is decreased by 50%, and its duration is increased by 3 seconds. And then also his passive talent, the second one is the pyro enchantment provided by Dawn lasts for 4 seconds longer. Additionally, Diluc gains 20% pyro damage burn bonus during the duration of this effect. And here, I also wanted to kind of show you the 2 passives at work as well. I'm not actually going to hit the enemy because I don't want to kill him right away. But here is the 2 passives together. It's nothing too crazy, but with the extra pyro damage and depending if I'm using Fish or Venti and then using the charge attacks at the same time, it helps out a lot. Definitely the passive where it doesn't take as much stamina. I'm able to just go back-to-back charge attacks if I really wanted to. Definitely on this medium to like small enemy. I also wanted to talk about the team synergy that Diluc brings to the table with like Venti and Fischl, because I haven't really used any other characters except the main 4 people you see there on the right, Venti, Fischl, Barbara. and it just works really well together because you could do the ultimate for Venti, just pop Diluc, and he does his all. Everybody is either up in the air or fell on the ground, and you can kind of just finish them all off with his flame sword from Dawn, and then just vice versa with Fischl. You could just swap in Fischl really quick, pop in Oz for support, and then pretty much do the fire. You could do overloaded damage right there multiple times because of Oz, and it's just Venti is just great for just massive AoE crowd control, and Fischl is it's a really good backup because Oz stays on the field over time, which is really nice. And of course, Barbara is the healer, so I could pop this on. I could pop her elemental skill, pop Diluc, and because I think because of a constellation, I have 12% more stamina, or it's like 12% reduction of stamina. So either I could use that with my charge attack, and it takes even less stamina for my charge attack, and I can output so much more damage because how many actual hits I can. And look at that, I could still even do another charge attack. I could go back-to-back charge attacks like 2 or 3 times if I wanted to. But that also depends on the enemies that you're going up against. So when it comes to team synergy, Diluc is definitely up there. In here, I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse of the details of my Diluc. He has 792 base attack with plus 1,093. The defense is 692 plus 130. Just 34 elemental mastery. It doesn't really give that much for the vaporizer melt, or even for the overloaded. His critical rate is 37%, and then his crit damage is 111%. And then his energy recharge is at 122. And then there's nothing else. And also, the weapon that I'm using is the prototype Animus. I do have it at level 80. The refinement is at level 3, so it does 360% attack damage to enemies. But it's really good overall. It's a great, I think this is the most preferred sword I have at the moment, until I could get, of course, the Wolf's Gravestone. But for now, I've been loving this sword so far. And because Diluc is actually a Claymore user, he excels at actually mining resources. It's great with his charge attack, or if you do a plunge attack, normally they break pretty fast. It's like that, but it's one of the good reasons having Diluc as a Claymore user. You just mine these ores extremely fast. It's great. And also because Diluc is also a Claymore user, he just excels at fighting larger enemies in general. Even the ones with the Geo armor that's on them, he just melts the armor down. As you can see here, he just completely demolished that armor. I'm going to go into the builds that I have currently on Diluc. And the current build that I have on Diluc is going to be the 4-piece Berserker set. This is artifacts that I got when I was leveling from the start of the game to AR40. So they're nothing special. They're not like the most fleshed out substats that you can get. I try to get the best main stats that I can. So I do have a 46% critical damage, which is really nice for Diluc. Because he has built-in crit rate, which is at around 37% at 80. And then the next one is the Goblet, which gives me a 34.8%. Kind of want to change this out in the future for a pyro damage, so I deal more pyro damage. So later in the future, I'm going to have this changed out. So the next one is going to be the Hourglass, which is going to be the Berserker Timepiece, which is another attack percentage. This is the one I want to keep attack percentage. Just hopefully in the future, I could get everything 5-star. The last two, of course, they being the flat attack feather, and then it's going to be the flower, which is health. And then for the stats, that what I'm actually looking for Diluc is going to be critical damage is number 1. I think that's probably the priority stat. Then if I could get either attack percentage or critical rate, that would be the next 2 that I'd be looking for. And then the final 2, of course, would either be energy recharge or elemental mastery. But to put them in order, it would be crit damage, crit rate, attack percentage, elemental mastery, and then energy recharge. But again, if some of those are switched, like some of the lower ones are switched in between, then it'll be fine. It wouldn't really bother me too much. I also want to kind of show you the artifacts that I would be trying to grind for here in the future when I have the spare time and get all the talents for the rest of my characters up. The Crimson Witch of Flames, this is one set that I'm looking into that I'm going to try to get at least a 4-piece to try it out. And the other set that I would try for Diluc would be the Bloodstain Chivalry. which also gives a damage of 25%, and then defeating an opponent increased charge attack damaged by 50%. I don't really care about the 4-piece. I'm more looking into the 2-piece on this specific set. And yeah, and the only other one I would think of would be the Gladiator set. I'm not sure if you can actually find it anywhere around here. But the other one would be the Gladiator set, would get you like an 18% attack bonus. It would be if the wielder of the artifact uses Sword, Claymore, Claymore, normal attack damage increases their normal attack damage by 35%, which is good. But yeah, that's really the entire video, guys, on my Diluc review and just the build that I'm actually, looking for in the future and the one I have at the moment. If you guys did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and until the next time, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.